Do you want to dominate your Dynasty startup draft? I got you covered. See, I've done tons of startup drafts this offseason, so I've noticed some trends and found one guy at each position for y'all that I think is an absolute steal. And I've got one honorable mention at the end that's basically free. So let's get right into it. Starting with the quarterback position, my guy for 2022 is Derek Carr. Last year, Carr dealt with a lot of adversity. His presumed top wide receiver tragically killed someone in a drunk driving accident. His coach became a major distraction and eventually resigned mid-season. His best weapon in Darren Waller missed a significant chunk of time with an injury, and yet despite all that, he was QB 13 on the season. Now fast forward to this year and Carr adds Davante Adams. Not only is he arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now, he also has rapport with Derek Carr because they played together in college.
Carr sets up, looking his way, throwing the post. Adams goes up and makes the catch. Touchdown, Fresno State.
Carr also gets Waller back healthy, as well as his top target from last year, Hunter Renfrow. I love all three of these weapons, but I'm worried they might cannibalize each other in terms of fantasy production. But the one guy that benefits no matter who's catching the ball is the guy throwing them the ball. In Dynasty, he's only 31, and I think he's viewed as old because that would be old for most other positions. But at quarterback, he could comfortably give you another 5 to 7 years of production. That's a long time. I absolutely love Derek Carr in all formats this year, and he is my ride or die at the quarterback position for 2022. At running back, I've got Kareem Hunt. Hunt got hurt in week 6 last year and missed most of the rest of the season, and I think in a lot of ways he's become the forgotten man. But you do well not to forget him. 6 weeks is a decent sample size, and would it surprise you to know that through those 6 weeks last year, Hunt was RB9 on the season in PPR formats, ahead of his teammate Nick Chubb, who was RB15? He scored double-digit fantasy points in all but one of those games and was performing like a comfortable every-week plug-and-play starter. He was performing like an RB1, and I've drafted him as my RB3 in almost every startup draft all offseason. He's the same age as Chubb, they were dead even in snap percentage, and Hunt was outproducing him. Yet Chubb is taken in the top 3 rounds of startups and Hunt can be acquired in the double-digit rounds. Make it make sense. Hunt screams value, and I'm buying him everywhere. Wide receiver was an easy one. Darnell Mooney has been a my guy for a while now. I absolutely love his game. He burst onto the scene as a rookie despite being a 5th round pick, and last year he proved it wasn't just a fluke, going for over 1,000 yards in his 2nd season as a pro. Most of his best games last year came after Fields took over as the starter. The two showed a great rapport with one another. Mooney's target share was incredible last year, ranking number 11 in both targets and target share. Now Allen Robinson is gone, and the Bears didn't bring in anyone that might compete with Mooney for being the team's clear top wide receiver. This might hurt Fields' fantasy outlook, but it's amazing for Mooney's. I expect improvement from this young duo, and hopefully there's some more competent play calling for the Bears in 2022. I see last year's wide receiver 23 finish as his floor, and I think the ceiling is a lot higher than most people think. You can realistically draft him as your 3rd wide receiver on your team, and I'm doing that all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Get ready for the breakout. And finally, we have tight end. Is it cheating to have last year's tight end 3 as a my guy? Maybe. But I feel like people are still sleeping on him, and I've loved where I've been able to scoop him up in almost every draft. I feel like the perception on him is basically that he's a replaceable scrub who just benefited from being in a good offense. Now, I don't see it that way, and as these clips are playing, hopefully you'll get to see that he's got very sure hands, he's athletic enough to run by linebackers, he's always where he's supposed to be, and he's got really good instincts after the catch. But let's say the narrative is true, and he's just a guy who benefited from a great situation last year. Well, guess what? The situation is even better in 2022. Same great quarterback who trusts him and looks his way often, Same great offensive line, same great run game to set up the play action, and tons of targets up for grabs with Amari Cooper gone, Gallup recovering from a torn ACL to start the season. I think he's the clear second option on that team. He should be heavily targeted, and I see no reason he can't improve upon last year's breakout campaign. As a little bonus for you guys, I'm going to recommend that you draft Robbie Anderson, who is basically free at the end of your drafts. Now that might sound crazy, but I've picked him up around round 18 to 20 in pretty much every startup all offseason, often as my 6th or 7th wide receiver. Did you know he had 110 targets last year? He was remarkably bad, catching only 53 of those, and he was not someone you ever wanted in your lineup. But we know the quarterback play was absolutely atrocious in Carolina last year. Now Baker Mayfield isn't a world beater, but he's a lot better than Sam Darnold so far in his career. The other 2 times that Robbie Anderson saw 110 targets in a season, he finished as wide receiver 18 and 19 respectively. I think he's due for some positive regression. I expect him to be usable as a flex play this year. And drafting a guy with a clear path to being a low-end wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 3 as your 6th wide receiver is good business. So those are the guys I'm trying to leave every Dynasty startup draft with in 2022 if I can help it. Maybe you love my takes, maybe you think I'm crazy. Either way, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked this and you want a guide to dominating your rookie draft, check out this video right here, and I'll see you there.